Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. Subscribe down below for more lifestyle, money, food, exercise, weight loss, like all the content that I love making. And today I have such an exciting video. I paid off my student loans. I feel like I'm on Dave Ramsey, the debt-free scream, which I hope to be on there one day, but I am so excited. These were like dragging a big weight, and I know a lot of people feel this way. Now, thankfully, I only had a little over $10,000 in student loan debt, which, watching a lot of videos on YouTube and talking to people and stuff, is not a lot of student loan debt compared to a lot of other people. So very, very thankful for only having that amount of student loan debt, but it still was dragging. So this story started about 4 years ago when I graduated from school, and then you have a few months and then they start like charging you and racking up all the interest. So I knew that payment kept coming out, and it was, I think, like $160 a month, and I didn't really pay much attention to it, and I was like, whatever, it'll pay itself off eventually if I just keep up with that payment. So then I had to get a tax form for it, and I realized how much interest I was getting charged. Like, I think that out of that 160, only 100 of it was going towards the principal, and like the 60 was interest. Like, it was nuts. So then I also looked, and it was like I was on like a 9-year plan, and I was like, what? Like, I don't want to drag this with me for the next 9 years of my life. So what I ended up doing was just kept paying it, never really thought much about it because I wasn't really into money for like the next 2 years. And then, or about 3 years, I guess. So then what had happened was, at another tax season that came around, I was talking to my husband about it, and he was like, why don't I ask my parents if they can pay it off for you, and then you pay them back. And I was like, didn't want to do it at first because pride, but I was like, no, this is gonna help my future. Put your ego aside. Like, this is the best step for me right now. So my mother-in-law ended up paying off, and at that time it was only $8,500, so it had gone down a little bit within the past like 2 to 3 years. And so then she paid off the $8,500, and then I was paying her. So I was originally just paying her $200 monthly, which made a significant difference because there was no interest. That $200 was going to the principal, so it kept going down and down a lot faster than if I had just kept it with the Ontario government. So then I was just doing that, whatever. I planned to like pay her off faster than like just keep going at $200, but I didn't really have a plan. And then if you've watched my I paid off $4,000 in 2 months video, that's when I really started to kick off my debt payoff journey. And that was only October. I paid off the $4,000 last year, so I only started like learning about money 2 months before that all happened. So it's only been just a little over a year, and after I paid off the $4,000, I was like, yep, okay, that's out of the way. Next is my student loan, because I'm following the baby steps. If you follow the baby steps, you pay off debt smallest to largest. So the smallest was the vet bill that I had, and then the largest is my car still. So it was in the middle. Plus, we were getting married this summer. We ended up getting married this summer, which was really awesome. So I didn't want to like gazelle intensity go into paying her off for the student loans, because I did want to have our wedding without debt. So I was saving for the wedding and just continued to pay off, and that's okay in the baby steps. If you're wedding, having a baby, if you know you're having a job loss, like, you just can stockpile money and you can pause on like the gazelle intensity. So kept up with that payment, and then COVID hit, and I know a lot of people are suffering from COVID, and I like genuinely feel so sorry for all the businesses and all the people who have lost their jobs. But in my case, COVID has actually really jumped my finances up, because I am not going out, I'm not spending as much money, I'm able to save. And then I did end up my summer job that I work at a golf course was like really beneficial this year, and the business there was booming just because of COVID. So I was able to work a lot there and make a lot of money. So we ended up paying for our wedding cash, which, again, COVID, literally cut our wedding from 170 people to 25 people, and that saved us an immense amount of money. Even though it was only 25 people, it still cost us around $7,000. So like that's, my heart hurts to think of the amount of money we would have spent had we had the large wedding. So that, yeah, we paid money. We paid for the wedding in cash. Sorry, I'm losing my thoughts. And I did have the money after the wedding to pay off my mother-in-law the rest of my student loan, but I did want to just make sure I had a nice buffer, so when I sent her all that money I still had a good chunk in case of an emergency, because after what happened with my dog, I do like to have a bigger emergency fund than the $1,000 that he recommends. So I do follow daveish. I do daveish and it works for me. So if that's what works for you, then that's like, you have to figure it out. So this is how I keep track of, I kept like the motivation going. So this was my credit card and I paid this off, and then this was my student loan and I paid it off, and I just got these offline and they're very, very fun. Now I have my car, which we're just making small dents in, but that's another story for another day. So yeah, I paid off my student loan. I sent her, like, because there's a max amount you can e-transfer people, I sent her the first amount one day and the second amount the other day, and I still owed her $4,000. So I sent her out the $4,000, and just like, the relief I felt, because as Dave Ramsey says, the borrower is slave to the lender. So I just had this weight on my shoulders, like I owe people money, I don't like owing people money, and I just wanted to get this paid off. So I sent her all the money and it was so, so freeing, like just this weight like on my shoulders. And like, if I'm being honest, I really don't think I'm gonna pursue what I went to school for. I've been working in that field for the past 4 years, but I don't like want to continue in it, I don't think. So I did have this guilt of having this debt for something that I don't really even know if I want to pursue. So I was like, it was kind of a waste, but we can't live on regrets. So now having that gone, it's just like that chapter of my life is gone and I can move on to other things. So what's next for me? I also made a very poor financial decision when I was younger and took out a loan on a high interest car. So that car ended up, like, I ended up trading it in, but I did take a big hit with negative equity, and so that negative equity is still on my new car, which my new car, the interest rate is 0.7%, so it's hardly anything. So this one, if I get a new car next time, it won't get any negative equity because the interest rate is so low. So it is worth what they'll pay me for it now. My loan would be the same as what they're gonna pay me for it. So I have to get rid of that negative equity though, and so that's what I'm working on now, and I'm almost there. I'm gonna be there, and then I really hope to get an SUV in the fall, and that's something else I'm kind of not following with Dave. I drive a lot and I really do need a reliable car. My car is getting super high in kilometers now, plus my SUV I want for like a while then. So I want to, instead of paying off my car, which was, I was like hemming and hawing between paying off my car or getting a new SUV. So what's left on my car that I would pay off, I could put that towards a new SUV that I want and I'll have longer. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, that is my story. So some things that really helped me, I'll just go through some quick tips. And this first one is how I budget. I budget through the Every Dollar app from Dave Ramsey. It's free and I love it because at the top it will let you like keep track of how much money you made. So that was super motivating to me when I was side hustling. So up here is how much money I made that month, and then it has all the categories and you put what you want to spend that month, and then every time I spend money, and my phone's with me right there, every time I get gas I put it in, and it allows me to keep track of how much money I spend. So I know every month how much money I spent on gas and or eating out. Like September, I didn't even really realize I was eating out a lot, and it ended up being like $200 that month I spent on restaurants. So this month my goal was to spend less, and I achieved it. So it's easier to make goals when you know the numbers, and I love having it on my phone, and it's simple. It's not like, I did buy a spreadsheet from a YouTuber to try to use that, but it's too complicated for me. This is super simple and really nice to keep track of, because that really helps your goals. My second tip is I zeroed out my bank account. So this was a little easier for me because I did have tips from working at the golf course, so I had cash for groceries. So whenever I would get money, I would basically zero out my bank account minus the bills I knew that were coming in or coming out, and then I put everything into savings, and then I just used cash for groceries. And then because I didn't have that money sitting in my checkings, I didn't use it. Like I didn't think about, oh, like I have all this money, I should buy these pants or whatever. And that's how I am. So it really depends on your personality type. I can't have money sitting in my checkings, or else I just feel like I'm Queen Latifah and can just spend everything. And so that's helped me. And also, if I do end up having some extra money, like sometimes I leave a buffer in there for gas if I don't have cash or whatever. Then when I get paid in like the 2 weeks, then I will put like, so last night I had $30 left in my checking, so I moved out the $30 into my savings, and then my new check came in into my checkings from my work. So then I don't have any extra money sitting in there, and then I can put that extra money in my savings. So my savings is high, and my checking account basically never really has money in it. And if there's something I didn't plan for and I need to purchase, I will just use my Visa and then pay it off accordingly. I never keep anything on my Visa. Another thing, like, that stuff does not get dragged around with me. And what else? I have a list here. Make sure you have an emergency fund. Don't like, make sure you have your emergency fund, people. Like, that has saved my butt so many times. And you just have to like want it so bad. Extra jobs help so much. I live off my my main job pays all my bills plus savings, so just a little bit. So then the other extra money I'm making at my second job is all savings, all of it, and that has helped so much. I added up how much money I made side hustling this year. Oh my god, like, you don't really realize how much of a difference. Keep track. I kept track of every dollar I made on my side hustles, and I added it all up last weekend, and just this year, like, it has been insane because of all the good like jobs that I've been getting, and I've been working hard. And yes, I work on weekends. It's COVID, people. There's nothing going on anyway. You can go work. You don't need to sit at home all weekend. And that's just how I feel, and it works for me. So that's what I've been doing. And like, let me tell you, multiple streams of income is the way to go. I got paid every Friday, one from my normal job and one from my second job. So every Friday I was getting a pay. It was very exciting. Now my second job is over because it was a golf course and it's cold now. But that was like super helpful, and it really helps me achieve my goals faster than if I was just relying on my first job. So that is what's next. Car loan is next, and then, or the negative equity, and then I am debt free. I did it. I learned so much about money. I don't go into debt anymore, which if you're trying to pay debt, don't go into debt. That just makes it more complicated and you'll never get out of it. So definitely super excited for the future, and so proud of myself, because when I saw that 10 grand 4 years ago, I didn't even know like the person I was becoming, and like that this would happen. And my goal was to pay it off by the end of 2020, which seemed big like at the time that I made that goal, and I paid it off in September. So I paid it off like 3 months early. Yeah, 3 months early. And it's just like put so much good in my heart, and like a light feeling. So you can do it. And if you have any questions or want more money videos, leave them down below. And I wish you a great day, and thanks for stopping by.